Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another weekly podcast episode of Digitally Transformed. I'm your host, Melissa. Today, we are talking about something very exciting, something that I think a lot of people really haven't heard of yet. We're going to talk about how mixed reality can help with autism. Yep, I said it. Mixed reality can help with autism, and we're going to talk all about this organization and the work that they're doing. It's really cool. You may have heard about how mixed reality is beginning to play a role in a lot of different work industries, and I'm sure you've heard about it from scientific research. But with the introduction of Microsoft Mesh and the Ignite 2021 conference, there were a ton of examples of holographic 3D structures and deep sea explorations. And those working in machinery can use virtual tools to augment their workflow in physical space. But there's another application that these really cool pieces of technology can do that many of us haven't considered yet. We really want to talk about how mixed reality is starting to be able to help people who have social or developmental challenges like autism. And there's this organization called Actimage. It's a French innovation company. And this organization has basically set out to work on this specific goal. And this project is called the Hol'Autisme project. And I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So let me tell you a little bit about this company. They were founded over 20 years ago in France, and Actimage has branched out to other countries as well, including Germany, Switzerland, and the US. They actually specialize in technology, innovation, and strategy. And one of their areas of expertise is the HoloLens, which, again, we saw a lot of at the Ignite 2021 conference. Really where it all started was they had began creating applications for the HoloLens in 2018. But they've decided that they want to put it to work in a lot of other ways. And their work with mixed reality really coincided with a growing interest in health policies, particularly autism, in the French government. So Actimage created this product suite to help empower autistic individuals with life skills and practice opportunities that are going to help them succeed in the real world. And I don't know about you guys, but this is pretty cool, really. In 2021, for technologies like this to be coming out, it's really incredible that we have tools like this for people. So let's talk about the HoloLens features. So Microsoft's mixed reality headset is the lens which those users are able to take part in what Actimage's designers and developers have created. It is an autonomous device, and it doesn't need to be attached to a computer at all. It can be connected to a Wi-Fi network or through Bluetooth. Essentially, it makes use of sensors and infrared cameras, and then basically is able to scan and pinpoint its location in space, which then allows it to have interactive and virtual elements that are added to the physical environment. It also has gesture and vocal recognition, which really further enhances those capabilities to create a mixed world through the user's normal movement and speech. It also has this built-in 3D sound system, which just tops off the immersive experience. So when users connect through it wirelessly, they're able to share a space made up of both the physical and the virtual, which is essentially what a mixed reality is. So let's talk about the apps for autism. Their objective regarding autism is to essentially create a new approach that will help children to identify and imitate the social codes that they aren't mastering quite yet, and to be mobile in noisy locations that actually just make them a little bit anxious and can often inhibit them, and to then help them acquire their own autonomy. The product is comprised of a handful of applications. One of the everyday social skills that autistic individuals can tend to struggle with is identifying and responding properly to facial expressions and emotions. So essentially, the Smile app can help users practice viewing and correctly naming expressions. So that happens both in the form of the holographic samples and tags that are added to real people that the user interacts with. I mean, it's just an incredible process. And through this kind of process and practice, these autistic individuals can learn to make those connections logically until they begin to reach a point where they have more of a instinctive understanding like that of people who aren't on the spectrum. Another app is called Pop Balloons, and it can be helpful for younger users or those with more severe autism. The way it works is it gives them practice simply looking forward in front of them, where they may be more inclined to look at the ground. The objective of popping virtual balloons that are floating ahead of them. And then another app named Across simulates a busy street intersection to get users in the habit of managing multiple stimuli safely. These experiences are typically aimed towards children, but the suite can also be helpful for adults too. A lot of people who are on the autism spectrum have trouble with the social experience of, for example, interviewing for a job. And if they've had a failed attempt, it often can lead to hopelessness or giving up. With this new app called The Job Now, the process can just be made a lot less daunting. For example, users are able to practice in a simulated interview and then get feedback afterwards from a real person who reviews it. This human coach can provide a summary of how the interview went based on a number of performance indicators like length of answers, interactive gestures, and conversational speed. And then the user can then practice again until he or she feels more ready or comfortable to take on an actual interview. While autistic individuals gain skills and confidence through these apps, anonymous usage data is also gathered for research on autism. The goal is essentially to help those on the spectrum and also gain a better understanding of the challenges that they face, which is a feedback loop and can help continue to improve the lives of those affected. And we agree that many others could benefit from these kinds of exercises as well. I wanted to share these really exciting apps. I think it's so cool what they're able to do for so many people around the world who need it, and it's just really incredible to see where mixed reality can take us. I think a lot of the times we hear about mixed reality being used in the industrial industry or for entertainment purposes, but it's just so incredible that this kind of technology can be used for greater good. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope that you found this fascinating or just as fascinating as I do. As always, thanks for taking some time to hang out with me on the podcast, and we'll see you next week.